Everybody needs one partner or two. Everybody have a partner? Okay, you now have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to talk to your partner. You have 30 seconds to come up with a good question for me. Now, before you ask the question, I don't know. A whole area of expertise is I help successful leaders achieve change in behavior. I'm not an expert on strategy or the business side of the business or marketing. So if you ask me questions about that, I'll just say not an expert. No questions about Donald Trump, and no questions about Boris. So no questions about politicians. So to your marks, get set, talk to your partner, come up with a question for me in 30 seconds. Go, 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 go. One thing I developed is something called feed forward. Feed forward, a Buddhist idea. I'm a Buddhist. Buddhists said only do what I teach if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay, just don't do it. So in feed forward, you learn, you ask people for ideas, they give you ideas, you say thank you. So you ask me for a question, or I have an idea. If I'm not an expert, I say I'm not an expert, you just move on. If I have an idea that's the smartest idea in the world, you say thank you. If it's the dumbest idea in the world, you say, thank you anyway. You don't have to do it. I'll never know the difference. All right, are we ready? Let's get started. And by the way, when you ask the question, remember you're not speaking to me, you're speaking to the whole room. So you can stand up and look at the room. Stand up. What's your next question?
Yep.
Stand up.
It's four of us. Spot.
Step out here just so that
there you go.
you get a good sight of everybody in the room. My question is, around this time of the year, people are always talking about goals and your goals for the year. And if you look at anything online, whether it's these things on YouTube or things in magazines, they talk about SMART goals and realistic.
Right.
But if you look at all the people who are inspirations for us, they weren't realistic, they were unrealistic, and they did these crazy 10x goals or 100x goals.
Right.
Most of the guidance is about how to implement the goals, but everybody in this room knows how to execute on a goal. My question is, how do you actually find that really exciting, interesting, disruptive vision?
Well, again, one thing to be wary of is this. This is the classic issue of so-and-so did this, so-and-so is successful, therefore this made so-and-so successful. There's a ridiculous book called The Secret. Have any of you ever read this book, The Secret? One of the dumbest books ever written. Sold 7 million copies. And the whole assumption is, if you envision it, it will happen. Well, I have a degree in math. That is a little ridiculous. If you envision it, it will happen. What they did is they took famous people. Like they said, Mary wanted to be a movie star. She envisioned it, it happened. That was true. Jimmy wanted to be the football champion. He envisioned it, happened. That was also true. All the stories were true. Joe had cancer. He envisioned it would go away, and it did. It was true. There's a minor problem from a mathematics point of view. They didn't interview the dead people. They didn't interview the 1,000 waitresses in Hollywood who are waiting on tables. And they didn't interview all the basketball players that lost. It's called the survivor bias in mathematics. So back to your assumption. Successful people set 10x goals. Therefore, somehow, if I set a 10x goal, I might be more successful. Maybe not. Losers set 10x goals too. They just don't achieve them. And all you read about is the ones that achieve them. So my feeling is, what is success anyway? I just gave my own 2 definitions of success, happiness and meaning. What does that mean? Happiness is the process of life. If you love what you're doing, that's important. Meaning is the results of what you do are meaningful to you. They matter to you. To me, no one can find happiness for you but you. I can't tell you what's going to make you happy. I can't tell you what's meaningful for you. Yet I do know one thing. The more hours of your life you spend doing what makes you happy and is meaningful for you, you win. The less hours you spend doing that, you lose. And I work with a lot of older retiring people. And what are we going to do now, club? The first thing I tell them is playing crappy golf with old men at the country club. while eating chicken salad sandwiches and discussing gallbladder surgery may not be that dramatic, right? It may not be that good. Might be fun for a little while, but ultimately you have to find meaning in your life. So, answer your question, don't have a clue. The only suggestion is go for happiness and meaning. Thank you. Question one.
Thank you. In your behavioral coaching, I think you talk about some people.
Talk about it.
Sure. That some people are not ready for change.
Right.
Not up to change.
Very good.
How do you know how far you can go in terms of helping somebody to change who fundamentally doesn't want to change?
Well,
like the alcoholic who finds it socially acceptable to change, but
right.
maybe inchoately feels that they do not want to change.
Well, see, a couple of important questions there. One is, I only coach people who want to care. I don't coach the uncaring. So in my coaching, I don't get paid if my clients don't get better. So I have no motivation to coach people who don't care. I've learned a very hard lesson as a coach. My name is Marshall Goldsmith, not Jesus Christ. So I'm not in the savior business. How do I motivate people? I don't.
So how do you know, though, where...
Well, when I coach people, they have to do the work. They have all this work to do, and if they do the work, they get better, and if they don't do the work, I'm wasting my time. I've never seen people do the work and not get better. They have to do the work, though. Now, when my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, was the #1 best-selling business book in America, the #1 best-selling diet book in America sold 10 times as many copies. Americans get fatter and fatter and fatter while purchasing more and more diet books. Purchasing diet books would make you thin. Americans would be the thinnest people in the history of the world. So no one loses weight because you go to a class or you read a book. You have to work. If you work, you might get better. If you don't, you won't. So that's about it. Okay, very good. Good question. Yeah, next.
Nice to meet you, Marshall. Thanks for coming tonight. So I do coaching work myself. I know you kind of have your own methodology, but like,
Right.
what's one of the easiest models that you usually try to teach people who maybe are just introduced to coaching for the first time? Help them think about how to.
Well, I can
make
teach
it.
you something now that takes 3 minutes a day, costs nothing, will help you get better at almost anything. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yep.
3 minutes a day costs nothing, help you get better at almost anything. Some of you are skeptical. 3 minutes a day costs nothing, help me get better at almost anything. That sounds too good to be true. Half the people that start doing this quit within 2 weeks. And don't quit because it doesn't work. Quit because it does work. So I'm going to teach you something now called the daily question process. Incredibly easy to understand, incredibly difficult to do. And anyone who says this is easy to do, you prove one thing to me. You have never done it. If you've done it, it's not easy. Now, how does it work? Okay? Look into the eyes of your partner. Look into the eyes of your partner. I want you to imagine your partner is going to call you on the phone every day for the rest of your life. Every day your partner is going to call you on the phone. Now, I do have a person call me every day. Every day she listens to me read questions I wrote and provide answers I wrote every day. Why do I do this every day? Somebody said, don't you know the theory about how to change behavior? I wrote the theory about how to change behavior. I do this every day because my name is Marshall Goldsmith. I'm too cowardly to do this by myself and too undisciplined to do this by myself. I know how hard it is. I need help and it's okay. My guess is you're no better than me. You probably can't do this by yourself. You're probably too cowardly and undisciplined. I am. Now, how does it work? It's pretty simple. You get out a spreadsheet and you write down on one column a series of questions that represent what's most important in your life. Friends, family, co-workers, colleagues, whatever you want. Health. 7 boxes across, one for every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And every day you write in, every question is a yes, no, or number. Yes is recorded as 1, no is a 0 or number. At the end of the week, you get a report card from that little spreadsheet. I will warn all of you in advance. The report card at the end of the week might not be quite as beautiful as the corporate values plaque you see stuck up on the wall. I've been doing this for many years. When you do this every day, you know what you quickly learn? You learn that life is incredibly easy to talk. Life is just incredibly difficult to live. And we do it every day. You don't look at those talk values. Oh, those are pretty, those pretty talk values. We've got lots of those. You look at those live values. not so good, right? Not so good. And so, for example, one of my questions every day is, how many times yesterday did you try to prove you were right when it wasn't worth it? I don't see too many zeros on my report card. Kind of hard for that old professor not to be right all the time. How many angry or destructive comments did you make about people yesterday? I'm not seeing a whole lot of zeros there either, right? Well, we don't like it other people stab us in the back. Why we keep stabbing them in the back? Well, if you do this every day, it's a very humbling experience. Now, back to your question, it'll help you get better at almost anything. It's far from easy to do. Let's hear it for him.
Okay. If we were here for a whole day, you'd probably tell us about the 10 or the 20 great attributes of a great leader. But because we've got short time only,
Right.
What's the one most significant attribute of a great leader? One.
Well, I'm going to answer the question slightly differently because there's a zillion books written about what makes a great leader. So for me to give you another little list of that stuff, because Jim Kuza's, Barry Posner, a lot of people wrote those books, and they're all pretty much equally good. They all say the same thing, by the way, in my opinion. I don't see too many that are that different. For what I do, what are the attributes of a leader who gets better? 3 things. 1, courage. They have to have the courage to look in the mirror. Very hard. 2, humility. I've learned a lesson. I cannot help someone improve who's already perfect. So they have to have the humility to admit they can improve, and then discipline. They have to have the discipline to do the hard work to get better. So courage, humility, discipline. Thank you. Let's hear it.
Hey, Marshall, thank you for being here. Thanks. What biggest thing in change behaviour did you do in yourself that got you right to here?
I would say I got right here largely because of luck. I met a very famous man named Dr. Paul Hersey, who was double booked. He said, "Can you do what I do?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I need help. Can you do it?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I'll pay $1,000 for one day." I was making $15,000 for 1 year. That was 41 years ago. I was poor. You know what I said? Sign me up, coach. I did a program for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. I was saved by my baldness because I looked a lot older than I was, and my stupidity, I didn't know how important they were. And they let me. They called him back and said, "Paul said Marshall again." Paul said, "You want to do this again?" I said, "Paul, does a bear shit in the woods?" Yeah, that's how I got into business. So what's my most important quality? Luck.
Marshall, when it comes specifically to CEOs who head up organizations, what is the most common single biggest obstacle to changing a CEO's behavior?
Ego. That's ego. Ego is very hard, by the way, because every time you get promoted, people laugh at your jokes. Funny jokes. Mike Cook was a CEO of Walmart. He was at my existential crisis for old men class, right? And he said, "You know, as a CEO of Walmart, I had this little joke I told her. It was so funny, and it's a clean joke, and never offended anyone. I love my little joke." Then he said, "I retired, and I was in this group, and I told a joke. Nobody laughed." Then he said, "I thought they must be grumpy. I told a joke to another group. Nobody laughed." And I said, my wife looked at him and said, "Mike, you idiot, did you actually think that was funny?" Well, it's hard. People laughing at your jokes, pretending you're smart, you know, and it's hard not to take it, start believing all that nonsense, right? Very, very hard. And also, any human or any animal will replicate behavior that's followed by positive reinforcement. The higher up we go, the more positive reinforcement we get, the more we fall into the trap. I behave this way, I am successful, therefore I must be successful because I behave this way. Everybody I work with, they're very successful, they behave the way they behave, and they're successful because they do many things right, and in spite of doing things that are dumb. Sure. And I've never met anyone so wonderful we had nothing on the dumb list. So it's very hard. The other thing is, at the bottom, you have to prove you're smart. At the top, you have to quit proving you're smart. It's hard. We have all spent a lifetime being tested day after day, test after test, test after one goal. Prove you're smart. Over and over. Prove you're smart. Prove you're smart. Prove you're smart. Hard to stop. It's very hard to stop. And when you get to the top, You got to quit making it all about you and make it about them. Easy theory, very difficult transition. Yes?
One of the biggest questions I always ask people, in terms of being successful, most entrepreneurs have to fail.
Right.
Fail, I believe, is an acronym for first attempt in learning.
Yes.
What would be your biggest failure in life that actually brought you up a level in terms of a lesson that would help you?
I am very fortunate. I got cut from the high school football team. And I don't know why I thought I could play football in the first place. I was some wimpy, kid. But, I realized you can't do this. And so, that was good. Also, I became bald. I probably realized, single spar John Travolta thing, not going to work for me anymore. So I ended up having a nice wife. Much better off because of it. So I guess the lack of athletic skills and baldness were my saviors.
Hi, Juan, we were just discussing the difficulties of changing behavior in teams, and you've been talking about individuals and motivations, and we were wondering if you had any tips on how to do the
I wrote an
transition.
article about this called Team Building Without Time Wasting. Probably don't have time to go through the whole thing tonight, but send me an email, Team Building Without Time Wasting. Be happy to send you a copy of it. So I've got a whole little detail on that. Thank you.
I was thinking maybe just one more and then.
Oh, I'm having fun.
Two more.
What's my biggest problem? Sometimes I fly on the airplane. Sometimes I go on an 8-hour flight. Sometimes some poor man sits next to me. He makes a terrible mistake. He looks up and he goes, "What do you do for a living?" 8 hours later, I look over at the poor man and goes, "Great is the need of the student to learn. Far greater is the need of the teacher to teach." Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay, great. And the second one. I'm Faye, nice to meet you. I got really interested of the topic of people's behavior. So I want to know, when we do our work, we try to change people's behavior. Sometimes, what's the difference of changing people's behavior and change people's habits of doing things?
Well, to me, it's kind of a semantic issue. It depends how you define behavior and define habit. So the answer is I don't know exactly. On the other hand, behavior, as I define it, is the way you're perceived by everyone around you. So it's not just the way you think you behave. For example, listener. Is she a good listener? Rather than define listener, I just ask everyone around her, do you think she's a good listener? So my definition doesn't come from a dictionary so much as it comes from other people. Thank you. Wait, we have people vying for this last question. All right, back in the back.
How do you make change stick?
Well, the way you make change stick is you need ongoing follow-up and reinforcement. That's why I do the daily question process every day. How do I make it stick? It's not like I don't know the theory. I wrote the theory. It's hard. It's hard for me. One of my daily questions is, did I walk an average of 10,000 steps a day? Well, today I got off an airplane at 4 o'clock. It's not so easy to walk 10,000 steps. The theory is always easy. I could ask any of you, who's the you want to be? And you give a beautiful list of wonderful attributes, a fine human being, good person, perfect physical condition, great parent, blah, blah, blah. And that's easy to write. To live it every day is very hard. So the way you make it stick is you have to have ongoing follow-up and reinforcement. That's why someone call me every day. Some people in life need a little help. I need a lot of help. So I have someone call me up every day. Anyway, thank you everybody. Big round of applause.
I did sign it. What Marshall didn't say was that, a big part of what you're about is paying back what you were given, the good luck, and paying forward as well. And I haven't met many people, if any, in my life, with this leadership capability who really do what they say, but really, really do what they say. So, again, a round of applause. Sincere.
You inspired me for one other thing. So I went to a program called Design the Life You Love. So the woman said, who are your heroes? My heroes are very kind and generous people who are nice teachers. And they never charge me any money. She said, you should be more like them. So I decided to adopt 15 people, teach them all they know for free, and the only price is when they get old, they have to do the same thing. So I made a little selfie video, put it on LinkedIn. I said, my name is Marshall. I got ranked #1 coach, #1 thinker, #1 book. I'm going to adopt 15 people, teach them all I know for free. The only price is when you get old, you have to do the same thing. I ended up with 16,000 applicants. So far now I've adopted 140 people. And if any of you are interested, we're going to be doing one for 25 people from Europe. So if you're interested, just send me an email. And all I need is your name, your bio, why you should be selected, and how you're going to give back to others. So thank you. Thank you.